Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
IBR Stella. I think Bivol has the tools to win it on the cards. Can BETERBIEV close the distance and land cleanly enough to hurt Bivol is the question. So I suspect BETERBIEV has some moments, but Bivol will keep jabbing and moving to keep his opponent offset. Wizard Sleeve thinks Bivol will school BETERBIEV. Close fight. October Red. Team BETERBIEV. I don't care if he wins or not. Sub to October Red's channel as well, while you're here. Speed 2002. BETERBIEV can end it with one punch, but I'm going with Bivol to school him for a UD. I think it will take someone taller with a longer reach and a high work rate to beat Bivol. BETERBIEV isn't that guy. Johnny's on one. He's picking Bivol. It's the fight he's most excited about. Victor Lloyd Richards. He's taking Bivol. Just an age thing. Definitely not writing off BETERBIEV. Probably be his crowning moment, however. Both missed the trick by not taking on Usyk. Jimmy Ginnell says Bivol cannot hurt BETERBIEV, but he can punch a little faster with more volume. Overwhelm him. BETERBIEV can hurt Bivol and is not exactly slow or less skilled himself. Probably won't be what everyone is expecting. Chess match to begin with. Then who has the most left in the tank after Bivol boxes and peppers BETERBIEV, and BETERBIEV concentrate on breaking the man's will. Championship rounds. Mr. Classic Metal. It's a near 50-50 fight, but he's picking Bivol to outpoint BETERBIEV. Dodge. Big up Beats. I'm salivating over Bivol versus BETERBIEV. I have no clue who wins, but it's going to be a mad fight. Okay, that was from the comment section. Nobody picked BETERBIEV to win. Nobody. Shocked. Couple people on the fence, but that's it. The vast majority of the comment section think Bivol beats BETERBIEV. So I'm the odd man out. We'll see how this plays out. Very interesting. Shakur Stevenson, 27 years of age, WBC lightweight champion, 22-0. 10 of them wins going the short route. Signed a promotional pack with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing. Details about the deal will be revealed in a press conference in Los Angeles next week, where Diego Pacheco, super middleweight prospect / contender, takes on Maciej Zaleski from Poland. Shakur said he's signed with Matchroom and Riyadh season. Jay Prince, he's a smart man. That's why they didn't take the $15 million deal. Or it worked out $3 million a fight if you read up with Top Rank. Basically, this would have been a hard deal for Eddie to make work without the public investment fund and Turkey Al-Sheikh. Without them, how much would Eddie have to pay Shakur? Minimum cap against Joe Cordina, who's just come off a loss. And if they can't get the likes of William Zabeda, who's ducked Shakur already, Lomachenko, who's ducked Shakur already, Tank Davis, who's ducked Shakur already, they're still going to have to maintain that cap of what they can pay Shakur, the minimum. Thankfully, for the public investment fund and Turkey Al-Sheikh, it's not really about the money. With Matchroom, Top Rank, Frank Warren, the PBC, it's all about the dough. Their bag ain't that long. Joe Cordina, October the 12th, is a voluntary defense on the undercard of the undisputed fight between BETERBIEV and Bivol. And then he'll be targeting his mandatory, William Zabeda, and I'm guessing Lomachenko, Tank, etc., to unify the straps. The PBC, they didn't make a pitch for Shakur. Aaron wanted to re-sign Shakur. Mayweather and Oscar, they made their strange pitches to sign Shakur. Now, Mayweather got that situation with Jay Prince earlier this millennium. Floyd tried to play him with the ND fight where he was guaranteed $3 million. But Floyd wanted to delay the fight till when his contract ran out with Jay Prince. And you know what I mean, like Bob Arum, he spoke about how the goons came around, roughed up Leonard Ellerby, and Bob had to cut Jay Prince a check. So it was unlikely Floyd was going to get the signature. Plus, where is Mayweather Promotions Network? Floyd is fighting this John Gotti kid on DAZN. But does he have a deal with DAZN to promote fights? I haven't heard anything. Floyd no longer with Tank. He can't get Shakur the Tank fight. You have to ask why he even wanted to sign Shakur. The ego thing. Oscar was talking about Shakur can get the William Zabeda fight if he signs with Golden Boy. And when he realised how ludicrous expecting a world champion to sign to Golden Boy to fight somebody who's the mandatory challenger to him. Why would Shakur sign that? Isn't it Zubaida who wants the title shot? Shakur keeps his belt regardless. And Zubaida ain't no big draw. He don't do no pay-per-view. Doesn't do no big gates. Then he started taking shots at Shakur. I don't want to sign Shakur. He doesn't sell. Well, neither does William Zubaida. And it was all a bit of a farce, wasn't it? So Eddie didn't have too much competition in America. You know, Bob Arum putting it out there that, oh, nobody wants to sign you. Eddie doesn't want to sign you. Putting it out there like Shakur's got no value in the market. But yet, he wants to re-sign Shakur. Mayweather, who's he got there? Correll Moulton? And he did sign some other kid the other day. But Shakur sidestepped Mayweather after the 2016 Olympics, and he sidestepped him again. I perhaps now think it's even less likely Shakur can get a fight with Tank. Now he's signed with Eddie Hearn. Isn't Tank making his air quote power move by not messing around with Turkey? And the history dictates the PBC will want to have as much control. Purse negotiations, rematch clauses, options on Shakur in case their prized asset loses, and any other little perks they think they can get for Tank, like him not using VADA. Frank Martin was tested by VADA in Tank's last fight. Tank didn't use VADA. And if Shakur hasn't got the muscle behind him like Jay Prince, Eddie Hearn, and Turkey Al-Sheikh, they'll try and take liberties. Probably put a rehydration clause on Shakur.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Just a couple of names I want to throw at you. Boots Ennis. What's next for him?
We've made offers to Brian Norman, WBO champion. We've made top rank 2 offers now for Brian Norman. Both have been rejected. He said, he posted yesterday saying we made a counter offer. We've not received any counter offer.
Where is the counter offer? The only promoter talking about that fight is Eddie Hearn. Top Rank don't want to make that fight. But there's Brian Norman saying that Boots is not the boogeyman, he's overhyped. And I don't want to spend time talking on it. You know, it's getting hard to do these uploads because I really want to get away from, oh yeah, look, he's ducking smoke and bringing up receipts all the time. So what? You can point these things out, but as quick as you point it out, there's people who would claim they are boxing fans who defend blatant ducking in boxing despite the preponderance of evidence against the fighter that they're defending. There'll be a few people upset, but just not enough for it to really make any impact calling it out. According to Eddie Hearn, Barrios doesn't want the Boots fight. You'd think that Barrios would want the opportunity to shine on the big stage after that dismal performance against Madonna last time out. And Stanionis, he has a WBA lower trinket to Terence Crawford or whatnot. He's had one fight in the last 2 or 3 years or something like that. And he was complaining when he was taking the step-aside money that he can't get a big fight when Errol Spence was champion. And according to Eddie Hearn, he doesn't want the Boots in his fight. But then again, we got Ben Shalom and Chris Billion Smith over here avoiding Jail Patel like the plague, and it's just pathetic. I need better content to inspire me to do the vids. People are countering what Eddie said about the offer, saying he's lowballing the likes of Stanionis. Well, if that's the case, where's the counter offer?
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Not so much a gripe with Riyadh's season, but an observation. Fabio Wardley needs one more fight to win the Lonsdale belt outright when he takes on Fraser Clark in Saudi Arabia on October the 12th. His last fight was at the O2 Arena, London, against Fraser Clark. The fight before that was in Saudi Arabia. And that's 2 defenses now in Saudi Arabia. I believe Fabio is the only person to defend, or let's just say contest, a British title outside of Britain. And I'm not going to get into should the British title only be contested on British soil. I'm not going to get into that. But it does mark a shift from old school boxing to modern day boxing for the British domestic scene. Probably more of an issue for the older British boxing fans than the younger. You know, the British title is one thing, but Wardley and Clark at the O2, it didn't sell out. But it was an excellent fight. A rematch at the O2, it would have likely have sold out. And Boxer and Sky haven't sold out much big arenas like the O2, if any, you know what I'm saying? So that's one fight loss to the domestic circuit. And what a lot of people neglect to understand is you don't just develop the talent, develop prospects and contender. You've got to develop the content. You've got to develop fights. How else do you develop fights? Froch and Groves, the first fight was in Manchester. How much did it sell? Barely nothing. The rematch was 80,000 at Wembley. It takes time to develop the fights. It takes time and it takes effort. But if most of the effort is going into developing fights in Saudi Arabia, something's got to give. Nick Ball, he returns from his victory over Ray Ford and he'll defend his featherweight title against Ronnie Rios in Liverpool. Dubois and Joshua, all tickets sold out. Just some hospitality and platinum seats left. They're limited edition. You know what I mean? That's the Ballers tickets, but it's sold out. So obviously we get AJ back, we get Dubois back, we get Shiraz against Tyler Denny, Buatsi versus Hutchison, Kakache versus Warrington. And I guess it's just a new phase. Things change, you know what I mean? Like domestic boxing hasn't been replaced, but it's no longer the priority of the UK. For years, Britain has been able to survive without having the Mike Tysons, the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Arleys, the Haglers, where they're putting on quality world title cards for years. The Brits turned up for domestic shows because we didn't have the talent pool that America had, but the Brits always turned up. But you see what's happening now. You put 4 world title fights on one card, one undisputed, October the 12th. People still saying the card's whack. So I don't know if we can ever go back to that domestic boxing circuit, or when the biggest thing on Matchroom was them prize fighter tournaments. I don't know if we can go back to that and be content. I don't know. Dalton Smith was scheduled to take on a Spanish opponent named John Fernandez, 28th of September. Dalton withdrew injured. The card was supposed to take place in Sheffield, but what they're probably going to have to do is relocate it to the next big ticket seller,
Johnny Fisher.
So the card likely is going to move all the way from Sheffield to the Copper Box in London, where Johnny sold a bucket load of tickets last time against Alan Babbage. They can't postpone the card, which they may have did at one stage when we had the biggest names headlining in Britain, so the prospects could get on their cards and get some shine. But right now they got to fight wherever and whenever they can. You know, you've got the likes of Rhiannon Dixon, Peter McGrail, Johnny Fisher, Cameron Vaughn. They need to be out there. I feel Queensberry have been doing a better job on recent domestic cards, like the last one, Nathan Heaney, Brad Pauls 2, Owen Cooper versus Echo Usselman on the undercard, Solomon Dakers taking out Michael Webster, defending his English title. Good card.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Shakur, we've seen that he's recently signed a deal with Matchroom, and I just want you to know where that kind of leaves yourself, your own deal, because usually if you're with Matchroom as well, Eddie would want to see you win, but now he signed Shakur. Are you still under contract with Matchroom? Have you left? Because obviously he's been very vocal about how he sees Shakur's career going and how he wants to guide it.
You have to ask Eddie what he feels, but I don't really take nothing personal. Unless someone's fucking with my money, then I take it personal, but it's just business at the end of the day. Listen, if you've got a chance to sign one of the best fighters on our planet, then crack on. Is what it is, man. I don't take that personal.
Who do you think Eddie wants to see come out on top?
I can go monkeys, I'll be honest.
You a paper chaser. You got your block on fire. You know what it is. To the moment you expire. Joe knows what it is, yeah? Joe knows that Matchroom are attempting to use him as a pawn. I'm wondering what's happened with Tony Sims. Joe's been with him since 2017, and all of a sudden, an amicable split. I wonder if Tony wasn't keen on training Joe to fight Shakur. Tony Sims probably knows what it is, but I'm just theorizing. Some people in my comment section think it's a good fight. I'm not so sure. It could be, but I'm not so sure. Eddie is cashing him out, but this isn't the 50s, 60s, even the 70s. Blinky and Frankie putting boxers in precarious predicaments. This is likely to be a record purse for Joe Cordina. 3-4 months to get himself together from June the 1st till October. Hey, the old school boxers would love to get cashed out like that. And at 32 years of age, Joe isn't looking to try and win the European or British lightweight title to get himself back. He isn't trying to do that. He himself said he can't get up for them fights.
There's nothing more for me to do apart from being involved in big fights. Like, I wouldn't be able to get up for them fighters that are just finishing British domestic scene, coming into European. I couldn't get up for someone like that. I can only get up with them top level fighters that have been world champion or heading to be a world champion. I can only get up for fights like that.
And he rightly assessed this is business. And you see, the quicker a fighter can accept it's business, the better. Because now Joe has to focus on the task at hand. He's fighting somebody with perhaps the quickest hands in the sport right now, with a great boxing IQ. He's got the big boy pants on. He's not doing a Billy Joe Saunders when he had the unification with Canelo. They were both promoted by Matchroom. Billy was whinging and crying. Eddie wants Canelo to beat me. I mean, even if that was the case, it's not like Eddie can get in the ring and assist Canelo. And he made a point of repeating this several times, him and his dad, who eventually got handled by the security in the Canelo fight. Billy looked totally distracted all through the build-up. No, Joe understands. He doesn't have a world title. He was stopped in his last fight. If he wants Eddie to push forward and get in big fights, he needs to perform. Doesn't even need to beat Shakur, but he needs to perform. If Joe can hold his own, win, lose or draw, Turki Al Sheikh and Eddie will still seem as relevant. Don't be fooled by Joe Cordina and the choir boy looks. He done very well in his last Olympic cycle and was narrowly beaten by a Uzbekistan boxer. And if you know anything about the current amateur circuit for the last decade or something, Uzbekistan are nothing to fuck with. He won the Euros as an amateur. Not an easy tournament to win. He was a Commonwealth champion in the pros in his 8th fight. Next fight, British champion in his 9th. He scored knockouts on Kell Brook undercards, Anthony Joshua undercards. He's been there when Matchroom boxing just blew up into a thing. He's been there. Joe, not used to small hall boxing or small time fights. He sees himself as a big time player. So he probably deliberated a little while, should I take the Stevenson fight? But Spencer Brown, his manager, Tyson Fury's manager, he got the job done very quick. And in this game here, you don't get as long as you want to pick and choose a fight like this. You know, people say ideally take another 2. No, there is no ideally in boxing. Boxing does not have a league schedule. You can go ages without your promoter phoning you. No opportunities are coming your way. And then on the other side, out of the blue, kind of like Rocky Balboa getting his shot against Apollo Creed. Fictional, but hey, this is boxing, bro. Joe Cordina, he's hooked up with Ben Davison and Barry Smith. Actually not too far away from the Matchroom gym at the Ben Davison Performance Centre in Harlow, Essex. With Lee Wood, AJ, Moses Atoma, Fabio Wardley. So he's taking it serious. Some people are saying that that's the best move that he's made, throwing shots at Tony Sims. But Tony Sims took him to the title. But, you know, it's one training camp. We've got to put things in perspective. I think there will be a placebo effect because Ben Davison, that's who they're talking about in the UK. And the change of environment from the Matchroom gym. Could we perhaps see a rejuvenated Joe Cordina, who hasn't looked the same since 2022 when he knocked out Ogawa? Hasn't looked the same. He had a hand injury and they put his champion status in the interim position. Beat Rakimov to get full status again. That was a struggle. Then his second fight that year, 2023, against Edward Vasquez. That was a struggle. Debatable decision, actually. And then he was stopped on the undercard of Fury and Tyson by Kakache, who was an outsider and lost his belt. So will the change of training environment and coach, the jump up to 135, there was always discussion that he was struggling to make 130, have a positive effect, or is it just a downward spiral of trajectory from here? Is that the reality of it all? He's just a fighter in decline.